tooth and nail against things like Ad Nauseam. It doesn't matter whether or not you... actually, Ad Nauseam won the tournament. This card, it doesn't matter whether you win the flip or lose the flip. It is essentially a hard counter for things like Ad Nauseam. It's not so good against Scape Shift. Against Scape Shift, you want to counter the Scape Shift with the Muddle, and then you want to odds the counter war. Because, again, it doesn't matter. When it comes to counter spells, for the most part, unless it's like a specific type of counter spell, it doesn't matter whether or not you get heads or tails on that spell, which is great. Alright, these are sideboard. And sideboard. Let me finish the article, and then I'll do question and answer with you guys for a second. So yeah, the Commandeer, every time I saw it, was great. It was actually great against Burn. It was even better against Tron, so I was very pleased with this card. I'm probably going to be packing, anytime I play Blue and Modern, maybe from now on, anything that's very controlling in late game, I will actually consider a copy of this if there's a lot of Tron. This is very powerful. Just straight up won the game. Me playing his Walker was just super cool, but also very powerful, and I quickly won the game after just a couple Karn exile. Just exiling just even a couple lands, just kind of over. Which is great. One of these is main deck. I can't remember which one. Yeah, one of these cards was in the main deck. Oh. No, she's in the sideboard. There we go. Figured it out. Okay. So, let me read the rest of this, see if there's anything else worth pointing out. Okay, so at the end, towards the end, I actually took a couple ties. Some of my opponents were playing very slowly. Obviously, the problem with this deck is that it's not a very fast win. If there's anything I'd change, I'd actually run more win cons out of the board. I think it needed maybe even just 1 to 2 more like threats out of the board. Just the Planeswalker threats wasn't enough. And if there's anything I could change, I actually would go down a Purge. I didn't need my Purges very much, and maybe it would have run a 4th Walker, maybe a 2nd Nahiri would have been fine, or although she died pretty much every time I cast her, or got exiled. But like just like a 4th Walker, the reason I went with the Blue Walkers is they don't get purged. Celestial Purge, this doesn't have text on it, but Celestial Purge is black or red permanent. Which, yeah, Nahiri she is red, so there are a lot of people packing Celestial Purge in the sideboard for this tournament. Or Graph Diggers, or what have you. Yeah, so exile, black or red permanent. I would have been looking for maybe a 2nd Tamio or a 2nd Jace, actually. Just blue walkers that don't get exiled, which would have been nice. To close out some of the matches more quickly. And that's okay. Sometimes, in paper, your opponent is going to want to resolve their spells at a certain pace, and you may get a tie because of that, and that's you know, that sucks, but whatever. Because I think I ended the tournament with either 2 or 3 ties. Most of them were day 2. Okay, so my very last match of the tournament was a man named Jack. If he's here tonight, he knows who he is. He was the last match of the GP that I played. A young man of 21, he reminded me a lot of myself. We played, had a lot of fun, but competitive time. He was playing Naya Zoo. However, I took the first game, and then he took the second. I would take game 3. But one of the guys that I rode with to the tournament on my team let me know that we needed to start thinking about leaving soon. So, I grabbed the slip, and I signed it that he had won. And he looked at the slip, and he was like, wait a minute, didn't you win this one? And I looked him in the eye, and I said, Jack, because I really liked this kid. I liked him a lot. And I said, Jack, do you think you can win this tournament? And he said, no, but I think I can prize. Okay, Jack, if you think you can prize, I'm going to give this match to you. He's like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, I'm going to give this match to you. And afterward, he told me a little bit about the store that he was working with. He had like a store on his shirt, and he said he was trying to do like, he was trying to get the store and the team going and some coverage. And I said, well, you're looking to do commentary? And he said, yeah, like that'd be really cool if I could do Magic commentary. And I was like, well, I currently do commentary with Chris Van Meter on Wednesdays. And I said, I'd love to be a reference to you. Swift Dead. Thanks for the follow. I said I'd love to be a reference or whatever, or get Chris to be a reference for you if I can. You know, if you're trying to get a commentary job, Magic commentary job. He has the voice for it. He's perfect. Actually, at the end, I was like, all right, tuning in to, you know, Card Hoarder's second Pauper tournament with, and I'm Sean Abrams, and and to my left is, and he said it, he was like, and Jack, you know, whatever his last name was, and I was like, you're perfect for this, man. So I gave him a lot of hope, and I hope that he prized. I don't know what happened with Jack, but it felt pretty good to do that. Not that I needed to do something all white knight, but it felt good. You know, sure, it's a GP, Science rules. Light side of the moon. Thanks for the follow. Sure, it's a GP, and sure, I could have also. I was in the same record he was. Sure, I could have maybe prized too. But you know what? I needed to think about getting home, and you know, I hope that he did something well with that win. You know, I don't know. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So the GP was a great place for buying, selling cards, networking. I did a lot of networking. So basically, RK Post might be working with Card Hoarder. I'll tell you guys more about that later. When the chips are down, and we figure out what we're actually going to do for RK, or he can do for us. It's probably going to be us doing things for RK. Anyway, and I actually networked with, do you guys remember what her name was? It's in my wallet. I have her business card, but the girl that was dressed up as, I'll get her name. The girl who dressed up as she cosplayed as the really, she's quite pretty actually. Okay, GP Charlotte. She cosplayed as the Noble Hierarch day one. What was her name? She gave me her business card and she said she wants to stream and she might join Card Hoarder. I don't know. Special guests. Her name was Christine Sprankle. She was really cool. She was pretty too, but she was really cool. And she said that she doesn't want to stream because everybody trolls her. So I told her something that Card Hoarder is trying to change about the Magic community is the racial and sexual and just any sort of discrimination at all, actually. Whether you're skinny or fat, or you're deaf or blind, or you have social anxiety, you should be allowed to play Magic, and people shouldn't give you crap for it, is what I told her. And she was like, you know, that sounds really good. I'd like to maybe join up with you guys. And I said, cool. So basically, we're going to do the 5-second rule with her. Basically, we're going to cover up the bottom of her chat. We're going to send in a really good mod team. And we're going to just terminate anything that would set her off. Because she said she really enjoyed streaming, but like people were saying some really awful things to her. And that kind of resonated with me. And I said, that's not okay. That's not okay as far as Magic's concerned. That's not okay as far as Twitch is concerned. And that's something that, you know, Card Hoarder, us, me, Jeff Hooglin, Chris, and the boys, and the girls, you know, like Mrs. Mulligan, we're all trying to change. We're trying to change that about things. So, anyway. Yeah, so I got to network with her and a couple other people, a couple other streamers. We're going to bring in to Card Hoarder hopefully over the next few weeks. If you guys know Trey Van Cleve, he bought me a pizza. He bought me a slice of pizza, which is cool, Trey, or his friends did or something. Somebody bought me some pizza, which is crazy. People were very generous to me once I put on the bow tie. Like Friday, I wasn't wearing the bow tie. On Saturday and Sunday, I wore the bow tie and the vest. Everybody was like, "Holy hell, it's BrewSpy!" I was like, I didn't know I was a thing. I didn't know I was a thing. Apparently, people like bought me pizza, and like people like one of my friends from the stream, Coolius. You guys know Coolius. He bought me a playset of Brain in a Jar because he said, Sean, you can't be playing this super sweet deck in day 2 with this deck and not have your own Brain in a Jars and paper. So he bought me a playset of Brain in a Jar. It wasn't cheap either at that point. At that point, the card rose to, what, $3 a pop or something, Coolius? You spent like at least $12 on me. He went to one of the vendors and bought me a playset of Brain in a Jar that I could take home with me. He's like, dude, you can't just like build like this amazing deck in day 2 with it and then not have your own copies of some of the signature cards. And I was like, oh man, thanks man. This is crazy. And I like signed some playmats, and that was pretty cool. I signed them as Brew, so I signed 2 playmats. It was crazy. I've never needed to sign, like, besides Will, you know who you are, Will. I've never like signed anything ever. Nobody's ever wanted my signature other than like for a check. That was crazy. Irishman, thank you for the follow, and Zingy Stein 74. Welcome to the BSMG. Thank you. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I will say that day 2 of the GP brings out some of the poorer attitudes in the Magic community, but I still managed to bring out the best in some of them and have some great matches anyway. Some players may forget. Alright, this is what I want to nail home. This is the end of my article. This is what I want to nail home, then we're going to play some games. Some players may... Let's just go ahead and queue up one. Some players may forget that Magic is a great game to play whether you win or lose. Play to your outs, make the right plays, but don't forget that you're there to enjoy yourself, and probably the other player feels the same. Don't forget that. Once you forget that, the whole reason we're here, the whole reason I do what I do, there's just no point. I would stop playing. Like, And I felt that way in a couple of those matchups. I didn't talk about every person that had a sour attitude. There were some people that had a great attitude. They understand Magic the way that I understand it. Okay, there are some people there that I don't think deserve to play Magic. But whatever. Whatever. You know, I don't get to make that call. Some of them had really sour attitudes. And I was like, I wanted to tell them to their face, I did not enjoy playing Magic with you. But anyway, it doesn't matter. And even if I had won the match, I would have said the same thing. Or lost the match. Yeah, even if I had lost the match, I would have said the same thing. Win or lose, there were some players that I wanted to tell them to their face, I did not enjoy playing Magic with you. I would not like to play Magic with you in the future. I would have even said something like, more. I mean, obviously that's a big deal. People would take offense to that. But it was like, I just don't want to play with you ever again. Even after I beat them, even if you win the game or lose the game, it didn't matter. I just didn't enjoy some of the matchups, some of the players that I played with at all. But I'm not going to tell somebody that to their face. There's a lot of people there I liked. There were a lot of people that are really fun to hang with. Oh, the conclusion though is I didn't get a deck tech. I got a deck article. So one of the people that does the articles for Wizards interviewed me. He took pictures of the deck. He said for an exchange of me giving him the Grizzlebrains deck, which I'm going to do. The deck list. He said he's going to write an article on my my blue at red BB&T from GP Charlotte. So that was really cool. So we technically didn't get a deck tech, guys, but what we did get was maybe better. What we got is there's going to be his name's Jeremy, I think. Jeremy. I think it's Jeremy. Anyway, he said he's going to write an article about the deck, and he took some pictures of it. He took me behind the booth, and I laid out the deck, converted mana costs, and the sideboard, and he took some pictures with me in the deck, and he's gonna put an article in the Wizards or whatever about it, which is really cool. All right, so let me get to everybody's questions, because I'm sure everybody. Hang on, we're queued twice. Start game. I'm sure everybody's all like, "Whoa, BrewSpy." But yeah, thanks for sticking around for the debrief of Charlotte. I'm sure lots of you guys have questions. Always happy to answer those. All right. Tell us more about the sour grapes. Nope. I'm done with that. My friend thought he was going to top 8. His record was a crappy 10-3. Right now what we're doing is we're checking to see if they finally fixed how it works on Magic Online, so we will be able to play the deck key. It's fine. Jeff, glad to the GP. GP went better than you. It was sweet, Boss Rush. Nope. Let's get a White Source go. He is indeed a dad now. That's true. The players are somewhat make the game for sure. I would say so. All right, so we're playing Tooth and Nail probably, or Elves, but probably Tooth and Nail since it's an Arbor Elf. No. Yeah, he's my age, actually, Jeff Hood. We're both 25, believe it or not. I think we just go False Segu. Yeah, he's 25, just like me. Did they throw their hands? Tony Silence? What? Did you hear that people? Did you hear that people booed at the player meeting when they said they had a gender-neutral bat? What? Utopia Sprawl. Yep. Yeah, we're definitely playing Tooth and Nail right now, against Tooth and Nail. RK Potus is the best. Yeah, RK is great. Birds, sure. All right, Dan got here from hosting, so let me see more games. I'll still fall. Looking forward to see you play this another time, says Swift. Oh, he's probably gone then. Okay. I guess turn 3 Ulamog? That's gross, Adam. He is a 25-year-old dad, correct. Which is where he and I differ. I don't know when I'm going to have offspring. I'm not really trying to figure that out just yet. Still young. Should we brew Brander Post Bust? Would it have something like... Oh yeah, you can use Brain to cast Ancestral. We'll talk about that later. I talked about that with the judges. It was cool. Yeah, you can use Brain to cast Ancestral or Restore Balance, Living End, all those 0-mana spells. Hybrid Genesis, if it wasn't banned. It is. I think I just go Mountain Say go. Jay says, I don't think this is tooth and nail, though. Smoker says, I